Going live.
We're live here. Are we live?
Oh, I totally forgot to check.
I see.
Yeah, I think we are. We very much are.
We're live. Oh my God, Michael, we've been trying to get this going for.
We very much are.
Let me get
I'm hearing audio
Yeah.
from
So we have been
Okay.
trying to get this going for damn near 3 weeks, I want to say. July, I think. Where are we? No. June. I said anyway. We're here. Very happy to be here. Very happy to be with you. Very happy. Happy Fishmas. Happy Fishmas.
We've been in the middle of a heat wave.
Yes, that's very true. It has been a hellacious
brutal over here.
heat wave day. Yeah, a little
There's
bit.
all this earthquake talk now.
I know. My son was
whatever. It's pretty scary.
Wait. I'm not really fully updated. Can you brief me on the earthquake situation? A funny way to start the show here, but just what's going on exactly?
I mean, there's
my son basically told me that like we're at a point where there's something about there was one big earthquake, and now that it's triggered one that the seismologists, the Geiger counterologists are saying that the big one's coming anytime now. Is that out there on the news?
It's all the news is talking about. Yeah. The Nankai trough. Nankai is what, South Sea. It's like directly south of
Nankai, right.
Osaka, Nagoya, like Shikoku's down there, just like south of the main island, is where there's one of these like troughs, I think, where the plates meet.
Yep, subduct between the one subducts between the underneath the other one. Yeah.
And there was maybe a huge one, in 1929 or something. There's some they have enough past data to see that this giant earthquake was followed by another giant earthquake in the same location X number of years later, and we can see patterns, and we're expecting the next one in that pattern now. And if that happens, if it's what they predict, like magnitude 9 or something crazy, it would produce a tsunami, 20, 30 meters or something, like as big or bigger than the one in 2011 that would just like hit, everywhere, put 4 million people, put 40 million people out of their homes. It'd be giant.
Okay, well, I'm
we don't
looking forward to that, but I'm looking forward to the earthquake that's going to happen on today's show, right? There's going to be like a yam. There's going to be like a giant
Bethel night.
A giant Down with Disease or a giant Tweezer reprise mic bomb, earthquake. That's what I'm hoping for.
The mic bomb on reprise triggers.
Okay. Let's kick this thing off. So welcome to the Dog Log. Welcome to our third and final episode of the Dog Log on this channel, on Tokyo Record Style. Actually, Michael and I have been logging. We've been dog logging for the last 5 years. Basically, the Dog Log, if you didn't tune into the first 2 episodes, is an opportunity for Mike and I to decompress. Not Mike Gordon, the Michael Warren, who's on stage with me. Hi, Michael. And we decompress music, we decompress fish. We are both giant, enormous fish heads, and we get online almost every other day, if not every day, and we talk
during a tour.
Especially during Fish Tour, which happens quite a lot. They used to play some 100 shows. No, I think some 200 shows at one point in their career, 200 shows a year. And now they've scaled it back to about, I think we're hovering in the 50, 60 show range per year. And we watch shows together. We stream them. We, subscribe to their, app and their and their we watch everything. There's not a show we haven't missed in a long time. So we recount every show, and we recount. Oh, great, we've got Vag here checking in from Bethel Woods. Nice, dude.
No way.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, like, since those first 2 episodes, the tour started, the new album came out, the tour started.
So much happened.
We've seen, I don't know, 15 shows. There's been 15 some shows or something.
Yes, it's just full on summer of Phish.
There's a three night run in upstate New York happening now.
Okay, so the point, and we're gonna end. We've got to end this. We've got to wrap this stream up soon because the show is going to start here pretty soon, and neither of us want to miss it. So I don't know what showtime.
Yeah,
is that right? It's today, right?
Like it's like 45 minutes from now.
Okay, well that's the amount. Let's give us that amount of time. All right, let me just set this up real quick. So,
check
that. The dog log is all about. The dog log is famously a Phish song from. Is dog log on? Dog log's not on here. Your dog, dog bog log is on there. Funny very first white tape which got pressed onto wax. So dog log's not on anything. It's on some live thing.
If this, I mean, as the primer, we could let people know that sometimes the best Phish songs don't actually exist on any of the albums. You don't go to the store, I want the album with that song. I know this is the best song, where can I get it? And you're like, oh, you can't. You gotta listen to the live recordings. It's not on an album. There's quite a few songs like that.
I mean,
are not available at the record store.
Phish is famously a non-studio album band. Really, they are a live band. I've got DJ Vital and Vertigo tuning in. Hey, what's up, Scotty? Rest in peace, Chichi Rodriguez, the golfer who used to putt. If he got a putt in, he'd pull out the putter and he'd Zorro you with Chichi Rodriguez. That was quite funny. Anyway. Yeah, no, it's cool to have people turning in. So that the point of this is, like, I think Phish had a little moment at the beginning of the year. They played Las Vegas's Sphere. I think a lot of people saw that going around the webs, and people were like, well, I've been lampooning Phish for the last 2 decades. Maybe I should actually give them a chance again. And so Michael and I thought, maybe this is a moment for us to come online and just give anybody who's interested in Phish a little primer. Somebody, it's a little bit intimidating to get into this space because the fans are notoriously, diehard and a bit off kilter, and
like
the discography is rather big, and they, like we said, they played a gazillion shows.
Any band,
and so we thought we'd put this 3-part. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's how do you break into a band? That could be a topic for the log, right? For a band that already exists. So that's the kind of topic that we would like deconstruct and dissect on the dog log. How do you get into a band that already has a discography? So that was the point. So we actually, Michael and I have the dog log just sitting online without really doing anything. It's a private online ongoing podcast, essentially just for the 2 of us, but we're going to try to bring the dog log online, and we have a channel on YouTube, and I believe it is at the-dog-log. You'll be able to find it. I will link it here in the show notes, and the dog log. So if you search for the dog log, there happens to be a lot of dog logs already on YouTube, but you will find us. You'll see a funny Phish thing, and we're going to move the show officially off of Tokyo Record Style and onto the dog log channel. But I wanted to wrap this little primer up, just so, because that was the point of these episodes, these 3 live streams that we hosted already. We basically lined up our live streams, episode 1 with the Phish eras. There was 1.0, and that was all about our first stream, where we talked about, I'm just going to do a quick review. We talked about their first album. Well, not even their first album, their kind of demo tape that circulated around for a while called the White Tape. It's sort of a very raw.
Is Dog Log not on there?
Dog Gear Bog is on here, and no, I don't think Dog Log is on here. I don't think Dog Log is on anything.
Maybe it was on the tape, but it's not on this vinyl repress or something.
It might be on here. It might be called Dog Gear Dog on here. I can't even remember. There's like 4 dog songs. dog. But anyway, sorry. And then we've got his first record, their official debut, Junta. We talked about amazing how well this album has stood up. Their second album, Lawn Boy, which is how Michael and I came together. I tweeted about this. I had an original copy that's super rare before it got repressed. And Michael was like, holy cow, you've got an original Lawn Boy. And then I got the repressing not so long ago, so I could retire my heavy duty one, my old school one. Then you've got Picture of Nectar, tons of killer tracks on here. Chalk Dust Torture, one of their big standout tracks. I mean, Stash, Poor Heart, Llama, fan favorites, Tweezer Reprise. Right. And we're still in 1.0. We're still in sort of primal Phish. We're in the early days, the 20s, the like steam locomotive Phish going out of control. I'm going to get a little bit out of order here, but we've got.
But this is all what's considered to be at first.
Yeah, Rift is a killer album that was sort of like and exiting early primal Phish and entering into like the first pretty good studio albums. You've got Hoist. You've got.
And this is when they're like. Now on Elektra Records, they're still like, outsiders, but they're on a major label now and they're getting bigger and their records are sounding better and getting better production. And then Hoist.
They've got a video on MTV at this point. They're one and only. And this was sort of a, maybe we're going to be a big band. Maybe we'll be on MTV moment. And it just came and went. Right. And then we've got
recorded
Ghost.
But
yes, and little glossy, but everything after that is glossy, but glossy in a different sort of way.
Yeah. So it is nice. Each album
himself and the recording artist himself knows he's. Yeah, each album has a sound signature that Michael loves to comment on. He can tell you the difference between the snare sound on this drum versus the snare on another one. And
these are.
And there was this. This is actually their best selling. This is their best selling record of all their discography. It's the live one. It's a 4-disc, 2 CD set, 4-disc.
Did we agree? That that's the best entrance point, maybe for the 1.0
could be.
We haven't really decided the winner, but I remember in the first.
And we
should like this is maybe
just
the
to
one.
review. Yeah, to review 1.0 covers, let's say 1980. Let's say Phish kind of got on everybody's radar around 87, 88, 89, and 89. Let's call it 89. But from 83 to 89, there's a whole era of Phish that was the garage band, the bar band, the college campus band, and there was a lot of there's a lot of history there. But let's just say from let's go all the way back. 83 to officially 2000 is considered 1.0 Phish. That was before the band took a 2-year hiatus. The band was full throttle, on tour, going crazy, party boys, life on the road, rock and roll, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And they recognized that they were about to burn out, and they said, we're going to take a 2-year hiatus. They announced it to their fans, and that closed out 1.0. That's the longest era. Well, actually, we may be getting surpassed right at this very moment. But 1.0 covers a huge stretch of Phish history. Yeah. Then the band famously came back, which I'll get to in a second. We have a 2.0, and then something else happened, and we've gone to 3.0. But for 1.0, Michael just said, did we decide that Billy Breeze was a great entry point? And I think we did. There's just this has early primal Phish. It's got reflections of the heavy, out of control, steam locomotive barreling down the tracks on it. It also has the adult, gentler, had kids by now, ballad.
It's got beautiful, ballad, Waste, the song that people sing at their weddings and stuff. Right. There's beautiful songs.
Come Waste Your Time with Me. Beautiful masterpieces of songs. More stuff from 1.0. Farmhouse was a record you maybe know about. Farmhouse is a giant hit. Was on
That's kind of where I got in to the band during the hiatus. So Brian's a 1.0 fan, old school, and I'm a 2.0 fan. You know, we're sort of a few years apart in our discovery of the band.
So 2.0 and 2.0 fans are the rarest of the lot, because it's the shortest era of PHISH. So a quick review of 2.0 is that the band came back. Everybody was really happy for them to come back. They put out, Michael, help me out, Round Room and Undermine.
Round Room is the best. Hold up, I got it.
Michael is a big Round Room guy. Round Room is a album.
I'm a rumor.
Well, and I encourage you to check out our 1.0 video and check out our 2.0 video, which go much more into depth about these eras of PHISH. We've got Grateful Dogs on here talking about cool conversation. Thanks, dude. Yeah, Michael's got it on wax. I've got it on wax in America. I just have to expatriate it at some point.
Yeah, I don't think this is recommended for somebody just getting into the band, though. Even though I love it more than anything.
Well, this one is a departure from the glossy, overproduced. This is essentially a studio album recorded live, and it's got this sensibilities of like an in the studio band playing together, and you hear the little people sitting on pianos and things like this. Is kind of is that how you describe it? I mean, what's the charm? What is the takeaway from
the charm? I mean, even they have other albums that are mainly recorded live in the studio. Even like the new album, the last couple albums maybe that we'll talk about later, but these songs also, I think they're also just like learning them for the first time. It's not like, oh, we've played this now at 10 shows on the last tour and we've got it fleshed out and we're ready to do it. It's like maybe, well, we're playing it for the second time ever and we got a good take. It has this also super like brand new, we still don't totally know all the lyrics, but it's great though. And it's them rehearsing for the first shows back after the hiatus, when they were going to maybe just play the whole album in its entirety live and then release that recording of the live show as the album. They ended up thinking, oh, these recordings from the studio, from the rehearsals are so good, we'll just put the album out before we play our first show back. There's just, there's something about it. And the songs themselves are great.
When we get a new PHISH album, if we're a diehard fan and a new album comes out, we typically know, most of the songs they've already played on tour. Let's say 85% of the songs. So they are not new. They're not new to us. They're very familiar, but they're studio renditions of the song, which often sparkle in a different way than they ever have at the live performances. And people often kind of scoff at their studio albums, but I'm a giant fan of their studio albums. I love them live. I mean, I love them equally live or in the studio, but Round Room it stands slightly by itself as a studio record to listen to, but it takes an intense sort of listening to pick out exactly what we're talking about. I didn't really hear it at first. I kind of, being a 1.0 fan, when 2.0 came, being a 1.0 fan means that you were there for the full throttle. You were there for the pedal to the metal, to the Purple Rain, vacuum solos, their drummer, running around with horns on his head, naked on stage. I mean, there was some great tortilla fights, the glow stick wars. It was full on.
Right. It was actually sex, drugs, rock and roll, and hot dogs.
It was, and when the band announced the hiatus, the fan base was like, "Oh, thank God, we need a break too." And and Farmhouse was a little bit, their last sort of 1.0 album was like, oh, we were all worried a little bit that it wasn't as good as their really primal earlier records. We started to wonder if PHISH was like a little bit like past their prime. And it was. I was grateful when they took a hiatus, a little nervous, but when they came back, really excited. But then these two records came out, and I'll just admit it, I didn't like these. I was like, oh man, they lost it. They totally lost it. And Michael was coming to them with fresh ears and with a fresh, not any of the baggage that a lot of the 1.0 people were carrying. True. Not a lot of the just like dead weight and trauma and all of this stuff.
And then we kind of went backwards. Yeah, we were like, oh, Story of the Ghost, that's an album. Oh man, Billy, oh wow, Hoist, what's that? Oh man, Rift, I'll listen to this. And then like, and at the same time, there's this live PHISH series of like officially released live recordings of specific shows, and those started coming out during the hiatus when they were not playing anymore. And that's where we were first hearing the live show and understanding that it was more than the albums.
It's funny that you say that like you went backwards through 1.0, because I think I went backwards also to 2.0, because I just like walked over those albums essentially. I'm like, I had them, I knew them by heart, knew the songs, but like I didn't think that they stood up to all the records in 1.0. But now I totally think that they are. I saw them through your eyes and I listened to them all over again. And now I wouldn't, you know, that if I had to get rid of all my records, they would be, you know, some of the very few that I would keep amongst my, you know, collection. Grateful Dogs here is chiming in saying that, yeah, he's a 1.0 guy too. He was, you know, I also saw the Dead back in the day, and we probably are speaking the same language. He said, yeah, when PHISH was hot in 93, my first show was 94, and like, yeah, they were just like, they were smoking on fire. So good. I mean, it was like, you know, hot, and it's still hot, but it's tempered now. It's strong and tempered. Then it was like out of control. And I think Dead Lot was actually pretty could have been. There was a lot of new fans coming on, like, you know, it was in the pop culture again, and a lot of kids were I don't know. Dead was like carrying more than it could. It had bit off more than it could chew. Not the band, but just the whole thing. And people were ready for a little bit of a, I don't know, it was a moment. And so then you had this moment where PHISH and Dead and they were getting compared, and Dead heads would show up at PHISH things, and there was a little bit of like, what are you guys just in it? Yeah, but it all worked out in the end. So anyway, but Grateful Dogs, cheers for chiming in for 1.0 fans and talking about you know, early 1.0. So we got through 1.0, we got through 2.0. 2.0, you know, these bands came out, or excuse me, these records came out, and after 2 years essentially, and a tour or two, or you know, I don't know, 2 or 3 summers of tour.
Yeah.
There was, Trey has mentioned in the past that like there was like some like 3,000 people on the guest lists, and there was just
bigger party backstage than
the front of house. Yeah, exactly. And it was not sustainable. And he's, you know, I'm sure he was having fun at the time, but he recollects on it with, you know, different perspective. And he says, and he knew that it wasn't sustainable. And he had said something about how like the reason that it got so out of control was that the band, and actually Trey himself, sort of like permitted it. Once he was fully open with his addiction and his struggles and his, you know, just out in the open partying, it greenlit everybody else to be that way, and it just spiraled out of control. And then help me out here, 2002, 2003. 2003, there was an announcement that went out on the wire that said like, you know,
they came back.
Yeah, 2002 they came back. Okay, and then 2003 they played these shows, and then 2004 they sent out a letter that said we're done. We're not. This is not a hiatus. The band has like we've decided collectively. It's mostly a 4-person decision. I think it was you could almost like read it in the letter that not everybody was exactly on board, but it was an official announcement that the band is breaking up, and they played, and it was a kind of a shock to it reverberated out into the scene. And on one hand, it was like, I remember thinking it was a relief. It was actually a relief. I was happy that I was almost like angry at them for just like, it was a relief. Just the whole thing needed to end. Then they played this last show at, where was it? Where was the last show of 2.0?
I mean,
Coventry,
in
right?
Vermont. Coventry, however you pronounce it.
It was in Vermont. Hometown show. It might have been a festival. It was a video of it. Yeah.
thousands
They're
of
crying on
cars,
stage.
and,
It's intense.
and,
Yeah.
and bad weather, and it's kind of just a shit show. But yeah, a couple, breaking down on a couple songs, just very emotional. I was in California, and they had like a this is pre YouTube. I like went to a movie theater, and they had like I don't know if they called it a simulcast. It wasn't called a live stream. There was this different word for it. In the movie theater, all these wooks in a movie theater, and it's in California, so we're like hours ahead. It's like 3 p.m. And we're watching the show. It was crazy.
Yeah, I didn't see. I think I'd already like sort of unplugged. I was like I'd unplugged.
Yeah.
I was like onto like anti-folk. I was into sort of like I got into some new stuff, and I thought it was cooler than I was like ashamed to be a PHISH fan. It was like that was a little moment. Yeah, Dog says a lot of us got caught up in the junk. I have a story to tell. I don't know if it'll ever make it onto the YouTube channel, but yeah. We did. It got out. It was mayhem.
We've got just under 30 minutes here before showtime. The stream has gone live, but now we're here. We're 3.0.
We're here, but it needs to be said that actually Trey Band continued on. The boys did other things, but
my first show was Trey Band during the hiatus.
And we're gonna get on the Dog Log. We're gonna go through the solo albums, and we're just gonna bring all of the log on. But there's not enough time to get into it in talking about this 3.0. But Trey was still full throttle on the. I've said throttle about 10 times on this stream, but he was going full force. He got pulled over on the New York highway with a bunch of stuff. He got some 15, 20 felonies, and he got thrown in. He got picked up by a cop. He got thrown in jail, and he had to like finally face the music. And he got into this thing where he got clean and sober. Essentially, he spent a year in sort of like house arrest, and it was the lowest point of his life that I think he would say himself that he would not go back and trade for the world. He tried on his own volition to get sober and get straight for a long time, and this is what it took. It took a catastrophe, and he actually averted the same fate that Jerry very sadly didn't. And this is why we have a 3.0 PHISH and a 4.0 PHISH, is because this band imploded like crash and burn as hard as a band can. And it took a level of humility and maturity and grace really to overcome this moment. And it is why PHISH is so healthy. And you are like living in the best if you are new to PHISH, you are living in the best era of PHISH, because it is the most healthy spaghetti dinner, no hanger-oners, couch tour. The vibe got higher, and there's if you still want to huff balloons in the lot, it's there, but it's moved on, and it's a family affair, and it still sells its soul to rock and roll, and it's everything that you'd want it to be and more. So we are so grateful that we got another chapter of PHISH 3.0, which evolved to 4.0. We're going to get into it right this second. But I just want to say I should salute the band for they came back. They did it. They came back. And if you want to hear a band, if you want to hear an audience cheering for, if you want to hear true fandom, true insane emotional acceptance, applause, I don't even know how to put it into words. Go look at the comeback show from 2009. They took a 5-year hiatus, 5-year break.
2009 they come back. Yeah.
And they come back, Phoenix rising from the ashes, and everybody else has had a moment to, get better. And holy moly, talk about some fans ready to see their favorite band, man. That goes down in one of the most amazing moments in music I've actually ever seen. There was such a high vibe, and it continues. So 3.0, we're getting into 3.0. Officially 3.0 starts in 2009. They come back on. They're going to align a new album with a new tour. Everything's happening. The summer's announced. What else is announced, Michael? New Year's. It's like we're coming back, and we've got plans for you, right? So opening with 3.0.
I mean, let me just double check. There's even a festival.
There's a festival plan. Which
the
one
PHISH
is
is
that?
putting on festivals, before kind of Lollapalooza and like all these things, Coachella and stuff. They're putting on festivals of that size with one band. And so that's Festival 8.
Festival 8.
Which they do in California, where Coachella is also held, same spot.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Palm Springs.
Okay. Festival 8, I believe, is the one where the Rift on vinyl exclusive got released. So don't quote me on that, but I think the vinyl only version you could only get it at the festival, which makes it especially coveted. It came with a special Welker print in it. And then the band comes back. I may get my discography wrong here with their, I'm going to say.
That might have been Magnaball, but not sure.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Joy. Yeah. Joy is the comeback album. Yes.
Joy is the comeback album. And aptly named Joy, I think the band was really looking for some newfound joy. And the album is really cool artwork. I don't know who did the artwork, but it's really pretty wild. And I should look it up. These sort of like glass marbles. I think it's an actual physical piece.
It's quite nice. I've got the original LP that's just on 3 sides.
All right, and mine is also 3 sides, but it's a different pressing.
Side D's got the logo etched.
That's cool. That's cool. That's rare.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah, I would take that much over this. Very nice, but
that's very nice.
Yeah, but I like the etched fish. So 3 sides of fish. That's the problem with these. When an album goes from CD to vinyl, it won't exactly fit on 2 sides or 4 sides. Yeah. So we've got a 3-sided album in Joy. And the song opens with Backwards Down the Number Line. Now, I should say, the album opens with a tune called Backwards Down the Number Line. And Backwards Down the Number Line is actually the birthday Fish song. It's apparently the lyricist, Jerry had Robert Hunter. You maybe know that, Jerry's famous lyricist and writing partner was Robert Hunter. Trey has Tom Marshall, who is essentially an honorary Fish member, his childhood friend, who writes so many of the famous and silly lyrics that we all know. And he's as much part of Fish lore as any of the band members. He's, I think, penned the lyrics for this song Backwards Down the Number Line, or maybe Trey has written it back to Tom, but it's essentially about I don't know, counting down people's birthdays. I have to go back and review the lyrics, but it's we'll
have to do a Joy deep dive and go into depth on that one.
But it's a real wholesome song. It's very
nice. Yeah.
Right. And it's a great comeback tune. It's a great first tune on the comeback record. And then we've got Stealing Time from the Faulty Plan, which proves to us we haven't changed who we are. It's a pretty shredding version of of early Primal Fish.
The night, didn't they?
Yeah, we got a Stealing Time from the Faulty Planet, and then we've got Joy and Sugar Shack. Sugar Shack is
Mike Gordon song,
a fun Mike Gordon song. So you've got some dark fish, some evil fish, along with Joy and Sugar Shack, and was on the Number Line. And so again, this one has this. I'd almost compare this one to Billy Breeze
songs. Yeah, and produced by the same guy, Steve Lillywhite.
Oh, interesting.
Joy really, same guy. Those 2 records just sound phenomenal.
I've never made that comparison before.
Yeah,
same producer, Steve Lillywhite, who I think produced. Who's super famous. If you don't know Steve Lillywhite, rattle off an album or a couple of. I think he did Rattling. He did I
need
Joshua
to look it up.
Tree, maybe.
He's like a big rock
Thriller,
guy.
Not Thriller, but
U2, Stones, Peter Gabriel, kind of all kinds of stuff. Well, I know him for the Fish records, but
and then we've got. There's no point going through them all. Yeah.
When Joy came out, there was a bonus.
Oh, yes. Yes, Party
Record
Time.
Party Time. That's just like a second album of just like, but it was just like only if you bought it through their online store, dry goods. It was like an extra CD of just like a whole other album of songs. Like who does that?
Yeah,
Oh, we have a whole new album. And just like, oh yeah, by the way, here's a second album.
Right.
And a few songs on here get played a lot. Party Time, the song, is a John Fishman track that they play a lot. Alaska. There's some stuff on here like Liquid Time, Let Me Lie, stuff that ended up on Trey solo albums. There's some, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a nice little B-side, like a nice little B-sides comp with like some
B-sides
clip art.
comp.
Nice like old like 90s clip artwork, you know.
It's very fishy, very, very fishy.
Yeah.
I don't have that record, and I'm hunting it down. If you're out there listening and you have a Party Time, I'm on the hunt for a Party Time.
Dude, I was hunting, begging, and pleading. You know, cold messaging people. Found some guy in Australia that had it and agreed to mail it up to Japan here.
Man, Party Time. I mean, that's an enigma. That's really a big question mark in the discography. Is it official canon? I don't even know. I don't even know if
there's other albums that are similar that maybe
Stick a Disc and
stuff like
what's
the
one?
Lambs, which is a little different, but
what's the one? There's another one that like never got on. It was never on a CD, never got released, but it's an official count. It's like a Stick a Disc, but it's not.
Oh, like Victor Disc or something.
Yeah, the Victor Disc. That's so cool. It's so cool. It's
Victor
like,
Disc.
You only can know about the album if you're in the know. Yeah. Sorry, you have we've got it on digital files.
I've got MP3s somewhere. It's cool. Yeah, it's like a recording of a rehearsal that just ended up being quite interesting. So yeah, and then after that they start. Well, yeah, they're back. Phish is totally back.
Phish is back. I want to rattle off a few more high points on the record here, real quick. You've got Ocelot, not necessarily a crowd favorite, but a Brian favorite. I love me some Ocelot. Kill Devil Falls, Light is a big Light's a big show closer. It's a big beautiful song. It's a real catharsis of the band and audience coming together every time, and you know it's like the band's really feeling good if they're going to play Light. And there's a silly track on here, I've Been Around, which is just sort of their, you know, barbershop quartet. Not exactly, but it's a goofy song. Hey, where you been? I've been around. What about you? I've been around. It's like, you know, stupid Phish that we all love. Right. And but I wanted to talk about Time Turns Elastic. On side C is a 13-minute 30-song Trey epic. And that's a signature of the Phish, is that from Vermont, is that they have these there's, you know, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 different archetypes of songs. They've got the classic pop song, the classic rock song, the ballad.
Try to get all the archetypes. Or maybe not. Yeah. Better to leave it as a little bit of a mystery. You know, we know that they're out there, but we're not gonna, you know. But there's quite a few.
Yeah, they don't need labels.
There's the ballads. There's the evil Phish. And there's the Trey composed epics, like movement, like classical music, you know,
atonal fugues, yes,
in structure.
And and Time Turns Elastic is one of these. Time Turns Elastic is a beautiful piece that goes through 5 different movements, and it's really worth a listen. I think if you love classical music, or you're an appreciator of jazz and you don't really love goofy, you know, you've heard a little bit of Phish and don't really, it's not your thing, go to Time Turns Elastic. That is a piece that any appreciator of music, purely from a you know, competence. I mean, like from a, you know, compositional standpoint, I don't know how to articulate it, but it's you know, it's very complex, and you can appreciate it just for its complexity, actually, and not only for its complexity, but for its beauty too. But it's worth checking out. Time Turns Elastic. It's a sweet of a song.
Once we get the dog log up somewhere, Insta, or we get the website going, we can make playlists. I think we can have one that's all of the Trey epics.
Nice call.
You know.
Okay, so
for those people that don't want the goofball.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'd be missing. Yeah, we'll catch you up on the inside jokes. We'll get you caught up. That's what the dog log's for, so you can be in on all the gags and all the goofs and all the I get arounds, and take it away, Leo, and all of those little zingers. We'll get you caught up. But so that is 2.0, the comeback album. Heavy, heavy pull, a good one. No complaints about Joy. I think it sits squarely in the middle of their discography. I'd put it maybe towards the top, but maybe some people will put it closer to the middle bottom. I don't know, but it's a solid.
It would be a good place to start for this is PHISH Today.
Yeah, this is PHISH Today.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 2009. Then where do we go next? Do we have to wait 5 years for another record?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, we have to wait a long time. 2014 for Fuego. This is a killer new PHISH record.
This kind of got me really back interested in the band too.
This got me interested in the band too. This was the record that I was
like, I knew Joy came out. I listened to it. It was good, and then with Fuego, I was like, ooh, I'm back.
I'm back on board. Yeah. Nice.
And this coincides with a Halloween show, and we'll get into what the Halloween shows mean, what they are. That's a lengthy discussion.
Yeah, Fuego was, I think they released, it was sort of the era when people started like dropping songs online, and then you'd hear another one and you'd get little bits and pieces of the album before the album came out. And I remember they gave NPR the 2 or 3 songs, Waiting All Night and maybe
Waiting All Night.
I don't remember how it was, but I remember I got to hear it before it was released, and I heard this song Waiting All Night, and I was like, oh my God, it sounds like Theme from the Bottom. It sounds like early PHISH. Oh my God, I'm like, so this is good. Like I can't wait to get this album. And then Fuego
built off of a jam from one of the shows. I think Mike was, going back to the last tour and listening, was like, oh, this groove right here, this needs to be a song, and that's how they made Waiting All Night.
Okay, I know that they do that, and I know Mike goes back and he makes his play. He goes back and reviews the tour shows, jams and shows, and he does the homework. He's maybe some kind of
archive. Goes back and reviews his performances. Watches the tape, sees what's working, what's not working.
So the opening track on here, Fuego, is like a best opening track of a great rock and roll band. I just like that. Say again, Michael.
We're at the 10-minute mark for showtime. Just a heads up.
Okay, so let's.
But Fuego, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Fuego, killer opener.
Killer opener, great record. I think it's on some nice wax too, if I remember correctly.
Oh, right, like orange, translucent. Mine's off in the other room.
Yeah, hot record. I think it's would also be a great entry point. I mean, this has got some. Cool. Yeah, Waiting All Night, Wombat Wings. So PHISH basically Michael mentioned about the Halloween shows. Real quickly, they, as a Halloween musical costume, every Halloween they play another band's album, an iconic album in its entirety from beginning to end. They played the Beatles' White Album, Quadrophenia, the Who's Quadrophenia, Remain in Light, Talking Heads, Loaded, Velvet Underground, Ziggy Stardust, Pink, The Wall, or excuse me, Dark Side of the Moon.
Right, that was not Halloween, but that was
Waiting for Columbus. Yeah, they've done a bunch of them. Anyway, one year they came out and they did an entire new suite of songs, their own album, and that was this year. The
first time they did that. Yeah,
this was the first time they did it. So the audience never had heard any of these songs. They played a new album from beginning to end.
Dream. You get like 12 new songs in a row.
Yeah, Chris Rock said that, like, about Prince, that he was like, I don't want the old Prince. Like, give me the new stuff. That's all I care about. I want the new stuff. And I feel the same way about PHISH. Like, love me some,
give us some we've
old
never
songs,
heard.
but if you can give me something I've never heard, that's really what this is. That's really at the core of what being a fan is like. It's like every time it's like, what are they going to do this time? There's no recipe. And that is the thing I think people kind of fail to fully grasp, because there's just like too much to grasp, really. I mean, there's like too much to appreciate. But at any rate, Fuego, Joy, Fuego. Then we go to 2016. We've got their next record, Big Boat. Big Boat is famously their... Well, I don't want to get off on the wrong foot here. I should mention that Fuego was produced by Bob Ezrin, and Big Boat also produced by Bob Ezrin, and I think Bob Ezrin, those two, right? And this was, I want to say, like an in-between record in our 3.0 era. This sort of like is a passer over one. It was one that kind of came. It's got great songs on it. It opens with a song called Friends, which is sung by their drummer John Fishman, who kind of has... Respect John, no deep offense here, but like he's got the sort of least musical voice. I love John's voice, but like he opens the song, he opens the album, and the first song is Friend. The first lyric is Friends, and it's a little corny. It's a little tiny bit corny, and it sets a tone for the whole record.
They've not played Friends for quite a while.
Yeah, they should play. They should buy us out of Friends.
Yeah.
And this one's got Blaze On and Running Out of Time and more. And it's got the Trey. If he doesn't have Tom Marshall writing lyrics for him, he tends to write these songs that we as the diehard fans love to, lampoon him about. They're a little over sentimental lyrically, and he's always writing about the stars connecting to the doors, we're made of water, and, love and light, and let's all be one. And, okay, Trey, we love it. We love you. And we're so grateful that you set that tone for our world. But occasionally we just need, evil primal fish. And he gives it to us. But this is one where it's a nice album. It's a little... It's
very good. Nice. Sounds fantastic.
It does fantastic. And people throw this record under the bus a little bit. I don't like
you were about to.
Yeah. Oh shit! Am I getting called
like,
out?
Oh, actually, no, I'm not gonna say that. But I mean,
1.0 sneaks into the log. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, Fish. Sorry, Big Boat. I love Big Boat. It's an ugly duckling.
Running Out of Time and Petrichor. Those are my two favorites.
Petrichor makes this album, puts this album on a top shelf. Petrichor is another masterpiece. Yeah. And so you cannot there's nothing that you can say about this record. And any record that has Petrichor on it, there's nothing you could possibly say to take anything away from the record. And the artwork's really amazing.
But I mean, I'll agree that there's a few duds. I'll say there are a couple duds. There's songs that they never play live anymore, but that,
yeah,
they try something. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But they, can't knock them for trying to do something new.
Totally. And I think, this is hard for people to, there's a line from the Bittersweet Motel documentary where Trey is reading a review, and one of some editor or music,
they get him to read bad reviews on camera.
And he says like, Fish can piss in the ears of their fans and they'll still love it.
Happily laugh it up.
Happily laugh it up. And I mean, the guy's not wrong. I mean, we don't love everything that Fish does on one hand, but we do love everything Fish does, even the duds, because it's not...
There's so many paradoxical things about Fish.
Yeah, there is.
Everybody says, nobody hates Fish more than Fish fans.
Yeah, but you got to take the good with the bad, and whatever bad that people say is on this record, I mean, we take it. I'm dishing it out a little bit, but I love it, and I wouldn't trade it for anything, and I wouldn't go back, and I wouldn't redo anything. I love this record, Big Boat.
It's not the strongest. It doesn't have the strongest opening track of all of their albums.
Tracking. Okay, somebody could have helped with that decision making. Okay, then we go.
Yeah. Anyway, there's just a couple more albums left. That's the last album before the pandemic hits.
Yes, the pandemic
tours are canceled. Not just Fish, all bands. Everybody is at home. There's no more shows.
I feel like that's 2016. Then you've got
16, yeah.
Ghost of the Forest. You've
Trey
got Trey
Solo.
bands, you've got Mike bands, you've got Page stuff happening. I think Fishman opened like a general. There's lots of action. The bands just took 3-4 years for the next thing to come, and I think there was plans on the horizon, but as soon as the pandemic hit,
that album had been recorded.
This album had been recorded. It was ready for. It hadn't been, or it
had been.
It had been recorded
like November 2019 or something.
And I think they rushed it out basically to give people something that they needed in a moment of adversity. And not only did they put out this, I don't know, 16th, 17th album, Sigma Oasis, the first with their faces on it. Shot by Renee Humor, at Trey's Barn. Let's come on, guys, looking a little.
It's really cropped in the photo. It's very nice. It's like a big photo of their studio, and
and this one has my note in it. It says here, Brian, enjoy these select dry goods. Thanks again for the surprise. Oh, Ghost of the Forest, party on from Michael Warren.
Oh man, I shot you that record. Nice.
Yeah, this one was the dry goods vinyl exclusive, super creamy seafoam wax, opposed to the split black and turquoise.
Right. There's a few different versions. Yes.
So this was
go for it.
I want to say that this is the first gray-haired Phish record. This is the one where they're salt and peppery officially. I'm nobody's right. And they are they're all 5 o'clock shadows. They've got gray hairs. I mean, Phish is wearing a goddamn sweatshirt on this. He's like not even making a little bit of an effort here, And I mean, these other
there's no stylists.
They're coming. They're coming a little bit later. There's no
lighting.
I'm going to say this was recorded in 3.0. This was released in 4.0. That's basically what we're going to say. So when the pandemic happens, this is the end of 3.0. This photo should be like the closer of 3.0. So it's like they record it. They Trey. Let's see what happened. Oh, okay. So then they put it out. They put out a thing called Dinner and a Movie. Basically, they tell their audience, we're going to release live shows as long as this pandemic goes. You may not have, your health. You may not have, the security and peace of mind that you normally have in the world, and it's a scary place. But if you love Phish and they help you keep a straight mind, then don't worry because we've got you covered. And they just basically release endless stuff for 2 years.
They stream a concert once a week on YouTube, full 3 hours.
Once a week, played chess with the audience. They got online with us. And stream, they had this famous chess game back in the 90s that they brought back during the pandemic. And they also, so the pandemic was full on. We were all masking and getting tested. And then Trey, who's living in New York City at this time, I think he kind of basically lives in New York full time, but between New York and Vermont, he's living right down from the Beacon Theater. And he announces that he's going to do I can't even remember how many shows.
It was 8 or something. Was that also once a week or something?
I think it was 12. I think it was a lot, and maybe it wasn't, but I can't. He announced that he'd be going to the Beacon Theater every week, and one week it would be Dinner and a Movie, and the next week it would be Trade Beacon Jams or something like this. I don't know what it was, but we just had endless fishiness. It was incredible, and at the Beacon Theater. This should have been as big. This should have been as big news as the Sphere, but they did something really interesting. Trey rewrote the script on the Beacon Jams. They couldn't play to an audience, so they got all these musicians together. Everybody masked up. Everybody got tested every week. People got COVID. People had to drop out of sessions. New people came in. It was totally ad hoc. But they wanted to play music and they wanted to work, and everybody was very happy at the opportunity to work. and they played to an empty room. They streamed these shows, but they turned the venue around and they put the cameras behind the stage, in the curtain area. The band was facing the back of the stage, and the behind the band was this gorgeous Beacon Theater, and then they totally flipped the script on it. Very interesting. And every week they had a little string quartet, the rescue squad. Yeah, it was amazing. And the, special guests coming in and out. It was so much fun. And so we were like, this is really exciting. And Trey busted out, I think, was that when the new Languedoc guitar came out?
I think new Languedoc guitar came out summer 21, like the first PHISH tour.
Okay, so then we're starting to talk about anyway, PHISH was like alive and healthy during the pandemic, and they were making sure that everybody knew that like stuff was happening. As soon as it's ready to open, we're going to go on tour. And it was a bit controversial. I think even Howard Stern called out PHISH for like having this super spreader event, like a little bit too early.
They started playing summer 21, so this is now the 4th summer tour. Yeah, they were like touring basically in the middle of the pandemic. As soon as they were able to, but there were still so many people sick. They were telling you to mask up. Yeah.
It was well intentioned. It wasn't irresponsible. I mean, maybe it was irresponsible. I don't know if it was irresponsible.
They did cancel some shows. They canceled the New Year's Eve thing once and did a live stream with no audience. There were a few times when it was like, okay, yeah, we can't play these shows.
Right.
But now they're back on tour right now. Yeah. They're probably taking the stage. We're already 33 minutes past scheduled start time.
Okay, well, I'm going to wrap this up. But here's what I want to say about it is that
I think we're still probably good.
Anyway, during that tour, like everybody was saying, like, oh, we went on yet another hiatus. The pandemic brought us sort of yet another break in the PHISH era, history. And so people started calling this 4.0. Are we in 4.0? We're past. And Trey had this new tone on his guitar. He had this Jedi wow 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 tone, and he started playing bass, sort of these low tones, and Mike started playing high notes, and like they started putting songs that they normally close with at the beginning of shows, and they started putting openers as closers, and like everything got rearranged, and these little suites of songs got rearranged, and like all the rules were off, and we were all saying like, wow, this is like, what's going on? PHISH is in a whole new vibe. Like this is distinctly different from the 2009 comeback show. And people started just saying 4.0. And then Trey got on got on a little Instagram live stream or something, said like, oh, I got my new guitar, it's really cool. And I don't know, I hear people talking about 4.0, and I guess this is the 4.0 guitar. He was like, went through the his different guitars. This is the one I play in 1.0, this is the one I play in 2, but I guess this is what we're calling 4.0. So then it was officially 4.0. So now Sigma Oasis, which I didn't really get into, the album is called Sigma Oasis. It's produced by Vance Powell in Nashville and New York and LA.
And it's full of songs we've heard for the last 5 years on tour. There's no new songs on here.
No, and it's solid. Album. Excellent sounding record. Is a solid showing, a very good appearance from PHISH. There's great songs on here. Everything run the gamut of archetypes, ballads, rockers. Life Beyond the Dream is a little bit of another one of those epics. Thread is a really kind of, PHISH has a couple of punky songs. They have a couple of rather metal-y songs, actually. There's a few of them, and Thread I kind of put into that category. Okay, we're wrapping this up. We had to wait a stretch. Sigma Oasis was the last record we got for a while. The band went to Mexico. They went on 3 tours. We prayed that they'd come to Japan, and like that has yet to happen. But finally, is this where we are, Michael? Are we here? Are we here at the end?
Yeah. Grateful Dogs also shouting out Big Black Furry Creature from Mars.
Big black furry creature from Mars. Big black furry creature from Mars. Big black furry creature from Mars.
Kind of a goofy title, but one of the heaviest songs in the catalog. Right.
You
don't often get to hear Mike Scream.
Big Black Furry Creature from Mars. Yeah, Big Black Furry Creature from Mars, killer track. Actually, I love that tune. And there's a few more. I'm trying to think of what they are. I mean, they played Sabotage. It's not their tune, but like it's a.
I mean, Carini.
Carini. Yeah, there's a few of them. So anyway,
yeah.
We are here at the end of our dog log 3-part primer, 3.5, 4.0 primer. We've
made it to now.
We've made it to now. This is the newest PHISH record that just came out. I almost want to say less than a month ago. Piping hot off the press.
Like 1 month ago, I think July 12th.
1 month ago. This is Evolve. This is the latest offering that the band has. And I'm going to say since 2009, maybe this is the best one that they've put out yet. We've loved them all, but it
Grateful Dog is out there. Is anybody still in the chat? What's the word on Evolve here? Is Evolve better than Big Boat?
Have you heard?
Probably. Is it better than Sigma Oasis? I would say yes.
I'd say it's better than Sigma Oasis, better than Big Boat. It's possibly better than Joy. Joy's got some things attached to it that make it what it is, but
this is
better than Fuego. It's probably the best record of the 3.0, 4.0 era.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of, if this is the primer, I really think a perfect primer is they just played on NPR, Tiny Desk. PHISH did, and they played a couple new songs. They played some old classics. You get to see them up close and personal. They went on Jimmy Fallon. They did this kind of media blitz just before the tour and the album came out. Oh, and it is showtime. Do we want to just let's make a comment about this, about the opener? What do we do here?
Oh God. Okay, well, if you can grab, I don't know what to do. Like, okay, now, here's what's happening.
The PHISH YouTube right now is going to stream the first song of the show. You can watch it right now. Leave us. Go see PHISH playing real time live right this moment.
Okay, I gotta say, I'd be remiss to just talk about Evolve without just saying, like, it's got I would say that, like, one of the things that you could maybe say about PHISH records is that there's like stronger tracks and there's tracks that are sort of like we were saying, these kind of various archetypes. This one, every single song on it is a knockout punch. That's where we're getting to PHISH right now. Every show, they're like so well oiled that there's hiccups along the way, but basically every punch is a knockout, and every song on here is solid. You cannot go wrong with this record. If you never bought a PHISH record and you don't, and nothing that we've said here has like convinced you to get one yet, and you don't know anything about them, you could go buy this record without knowing anything about this band and just being like, hey, it looks like an interesting record. Pick this up, take it home, and be satisfied. This is like, you'd be like, wow, okay, this is good. This is an excellent entry point, as good as any that we've announced, that we've mentioned in the past in this log or in any of the past logs. But Evolve is a strong offering from PHISH, and I'm so excited for still what's to come. Trey just said that we're going to keep playing until we're 90, so let's see what happens if these guys can stay in good health. And now, so that wraps up our third and final issue of the Dog Log. I'm going to leave here in the show notes our link to our new channel, where if we do new Dog Logs, which may talk about single albums, it will go anywhere that the Dog Log goes. I hope that this 3-part set here, this little primer, has been a little bit useful to you, and that you will be able to appreciate this band with us and all the tens of thousands of fans that are out there in the world. We're all over the world, and we love this band with our whole hearts. And they are on tour right now. And we had a break yesterday. I got my PHISH shirt on right now. I got my donut socks over there. I'm ready to roll. We are plugged into the streams, and yeah, cheers to you, Grateful Dogs, for showing up. Appreciate you being here, and please come back anytime. Please come on the log anytime. And so they're gonna stream the show. We're gonna be tapped into a stream where we can watch the whole show, but they actually stream.
They started like 2 minutes ago. They're grooving right now.
Oh shit! Oh god. Yeah. Okay. So okay, I'm gonna sign off. So I'll just say thank you. They're on this. Michael? What's the opener? Tell me what it is. What are they?
Can you tell what it is by me going like this?
It's bouncing around the room. Is it bouncing?
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, it's sand. Dun, dun. They open with sand.
Not sand.
Sand.
The
Oh,
other,
first two.
First
two,
which would normally.
I can tell what Michael.
It would be the encore, and they're playing it first.
Okay, so that means it's going to be a good show. What they're saying is that we're opening with our best song first.
Yeah.
Which is just a message to the entire audience, like sit down and get ready to get rocked, because here we go. So that's a PHISH move for you. So I'm gonna go get off, and I hope you all enjoy the dog log. I hope you all enjoy the band. Go check out PHISH on YouTube. Yeah, so much more to talk about, and I'm just glad that we finally wrapped up this last and final part.
We did it. Yeah.
It's PHISH on YouTube. That is streaming their first song. They'll stream the first song of their first set, then they'll stream the first song of their second set. We'll back. And if you want to get more tapped into PHISH, Michael and I are happy to be here to be your guide through this amazing band. All right, guys. Until next time, we'll see you out there. Have a good happy PHISHmas, happy PHISH tour, and we love PHISH. Okay, bye, guys. See you.
Nice. All right.
Party on.
Party on.